Hello and welcome to the Home Buyer Workshop Part 2, brought to you by Neil, the Mortgage Man McJanet. We're on a video, so obviously you can't ask me questions directly, but please feel free to email me at neil@mortgageman.ca or call me directly to discuss anything you want at 250-861-8758. This Part 2 is about the role of the realtors in a house buying and house selling transaction. The home buying process starts when you make a decision you'd like to own a home. So you go out and you find yourself a mortgage consultant and a licensed real estate agent, and then you sit down and have a one-on-one consultation with both, always starting with the mortgage broker or your bank. That way you know exactly what it is that you qualify for as far as the mortgage goes and what home price you would qualify for. A buyer agent will represent you. He acts with confidentiality and will disclose anything you need to know about the transactions. How do you choose the right buyer agent? Well, talk to your banker, talk to your mortgage broker, talk to your friends, find out who they've used recently as a real estate agent to buy and what they felt of the service. If the service is good, it'll likely be good for you as well. So that's likely the best way to find the buyer agent. There is usually a buyer contract that is signed that ties you to that agent for a period of 3 months or 6 months, similar to the selling contract, because they don't want to be spending a lot of time on you and have you just wander away and not buy from them. So you look for a realtor that will provide you with an agency contract. What's the cost of having a buyer agent represent your thoughts and interests throughout the transaction? Usually nothing. There could be a fee for special circumstances, looking for special properties or special locations or whatever. But typically the buyer agent gets paid by the seller agent and the seller's customer, the agent's customer. So if you see a sign on a lawn or an ad in the newspaper about resale homes, you should always contact your buyer agent first. If you go to open house, you can make an appointment to see the home with the listing agent, but new legislation doesn't allow that listing agent to represent you because he's representing the seller, so he can't represent both at the same time. At an open house, the agent can only discuss about public knowledge about the home, whereas your buyer agent will dig in around and find out other information that's maybe not so well known. So and then he can help you make a good negotiation on price. Listing agent represents the seller first. Confidentiality regarding how the house was priced is all to them, so they can't represent the buyer on their own listing because that information that you've got is purely for the buyer, the seller. So they must refer you to another agent if you want to make an offer on their listing. And probably the best to use an agent referred to you by a friend or associate rather than one that's being referred by the listing agent. You'd just be in a safer position knowing that you're being looked after by somebody that's looked after somebody you know. Listing agent must represent the seller's best interest. Ethic rules instruct the realtor that if they prepare a CMA, and that's what they do to come up with the price, they cannot use it to provide advice to assist buyers in price negotiations. In other words, they can't share that information. Why not? Well, it's a legal obligation for them to just represent the seller, so therefore they have a fiduciary duty in that regard. What really is the buyer's agent's motivation to get the right house at the right price? Well, their goal, like mine, is to build clients for life, not just take your money and run. They want to wow you, same as I do, and be referred by your friends and family. And if they've negotiated a better price, the dollars and the cents of it to them is very little consequence. If they can save you $7,000 or $8,000, the commission on that's going to be nominal. So, but it's very significant to you as far as the purchase costs, and that means you're likely to be more apt to send them a referral. Why have a buyer consultation? Well, it covers a couple of things. It gets the realtor to know what your budget is, and then they can review your wish list. They can discuss what your dream home looks like in your mind, and then bring it down to reality when you start looking for houses. Sometimes the dream home is just a dream. But you'll be asked as a rule to sign a form that explains the importance of working with a realtor. So in the buyer consultation, you'll discuss what your dream is, compare your dream to reality, and sometimes you have to compromise because price is price and that's all you can afford. So no sense dreaming too high. Then they work with you to bring that dream to a reality. You select a comfortable price range and you select some specific neighborhoods and areas you'd like to live. Then they can start a search on the computer system to show you what's available and try to find several possible five-star homes in your price range. If you find one that you like, they can give you a virtual tour right in their office quite often, and a real life tour, of course, if you're interested in actually physically seeing the home. Buyer consultation gives you a leap of faith that you can do it. Final thought is there's no perfect home, but knowledge is power. So knowing what you can afford and where you want to live gives you quite an advantage in buying a house. Finding the perfect home, buyer specialists can usually perform Okanagan MLS computer searches daily, or if you're going to another area, they can get the MLS for that area and discuss them with you. They can send you the information on any new listings. Then usually they'll have you drive by, check out the prospective home exteriors, neighborhoods, decide if that's a home you would be happy with. If it is, then you can go back to them. They can do their office tour, or they can take you right out to see the actual physical home if you think you're interested in that one. You can call them with a list of your favorites after you've seen a few, and they'll set up appointments to see the interiors if you're really happy in them. Once you've seen 3 or 4 homes, or sometimes as many as 8 or 10, and you find one that you really like, then what happens? The offer presentation process. How do you know how much to offer? That's where your realtor comes in. You've got to trust your realtor. They'll do printouts of recent sales, similar houses and or condos that are like that one, and they'll discuss them with you and show you how they come up with what they think the price should be. They'll call the listing agent and get some specific information and ask several questions. They'll determine the starting offer price and prepare the offer for your signature. They'll negotiate the offer as your buyer agent. They'll meet with the seller agent or email information on the offer off to the selling agent, and that's when the negotiations start. That's a typical offer presentation process. Once your offer has been accepted, being nervous is a normal behavior. You may be asked to certify the deposit check for your down payment, but sometimes the deposit's not required until your deal is actually finalized. So ask the realtor what their office policy is so you're prepared once you make the offer. Then you prepare to satisfy the conditions in your offer that were provided to you by the realtor and the broker. What happens after home inspection? If everything's okay, the waiver is signed. This isn't a lender condition. This is completely up to you if you want to have a home inspection done or not. I always recommend that people do it because when you're buying something for $300,000 or $500,000, paying a home inspector $300,000 or $500,000 makes a lot of good sense. If there's major deficiencies found, you can negotiate a new price, but usually if the deficiencies are $1,000 or $2,000, something like that, you can talk to your realtor about that, but usually they say that's normal wear and tear, and that's up to you as a buyer to look after minor deficiencies. Then there's no stress. They'll send the offer and the listing to your mortgage consultant, and the broker will come back with a unconditional mortgage commitment once you meet all the conditions. Then you can sign the waiver to remove the financing conditions. Don't remove conditions until your broker, lender, or your bank gives you a letter stating all conditions have been met. I feel that if I'm going to tell you to remove your conditions, I should do it in writing so that you have security. And I'm not putting myself in any bad place by doing that, but I don't think you should remove a condition on any offer until you've been told to do so by whoever is arranging your lending. If you're buying a condo, you should still get a home inspection. Usually find a need, usually have to put a condition on your financing to that regard, but you also want to look at the strata documents and make sure they're okay. Then you can sign the waiver, and congratulations. Once all the waivers have been signed, you've now bought a home. Just as an aside, I also am a reverse mortgage agent. So if you know anybody over 55 years of age that's thinking of buying down or buying up or just in need of some cash flow, please have them call me. I'm more than happy to talk to them as well. We'd love to help you finance your and find your new home at any price range. Whatever you can afford is what we want to do for you. We truly enjoy working with people and would consider it a privilege to be your mortgage consultant for life. I'd like to say thank you for viewing our workshop and good luck in your home search. And if you enjoyed this home buyer workshop, please refer our home buyer workshop to your friends and family members, or simply have them call me at 250-861-8758 for a free personal consultation. All information in these slides are based on a point in time, and anything can change at any time. So this is based on what I know about the mortgage and real estate industry as of May 2020. Whenever you're talking to your lender or your realtor, make sure that you are up to date and know exactly what it is that you should be looking out for. And thank you very much again. That's about it. If you have any questions at all, feel free to give me a call at 250-861-8758 or email me at neil@mortgageman.ca. Thank you very much and have a great day.